Have you noticed how there are some days where you are preventing yourself from getting what you truly want? It's crazy, isn't it? And this is why you'll see successful people. They've all learned how to master this. And there are these 3 things specifically that they've done that attracts more success into their life that I'm going to share with you in today's video. So without further ado, let's go on to the first point, which is you've got to raise your perception of effort. And a lot of psychologists have now proven this to be true. They've been studying champion athletes, elite athletes, and they've been studying also what is it that makes somebody not become a champion. And it's all, of course, mindset based, and specifically it was in regards to how one was perceiving effort. There were these athletes who were kind of dreaming of becoming a champion, but never making it big. They had a very low perception of effort. They were saying they were giving their absolute all to their coach. They were pushing apparently their hardest. But what the coaches realized was they were nowhere near the absolute peak performance. While champions, what they were doing, their perception of effort was just on that whole another level. They realized there's always more to give. They realized there's always more. They push even past what they believe is possible. And that's why every single training session they grow into the champion version that they are deep inside. Every single training session they are growing and they are growing and growing. And so one day when they're finally on that track and they got to give it their absolute all on a 100-meter race, they're able to win because their perception of effort is on that another level. The question you got to ask yourself right now is, what's your perception of effort? Because if you're telling yourself you're working hard, the question is are you actually working hard? Or is it a perception, a limitation that you've created in your psychology? Because everybody has got their own limitations. So if you want more results in your life right now, you got to raise your standards of what's acceptable. You got to go beyond what you believe is capable. And I'm sure there have been days, maybe in the gym, where a mentor or coach told you to give it a little bit more and you were able to give it more. It's already within you. You got to go a little bit more. You got to give it a little bit more, and you got to begin to stretch this elastic band every single day. That's how you become a winner. The second point is to approach your work with the right mindset. And psychologists have shown how there are these 2 types of people. And the first type, this is the high achievers who are able to achieve big without burning themselves out. Because I'm sure you've worked hard before, but then what happens is you felt a little bit burnt out, right? But then there's been some days where you've given it your all and you felt great as well. Well, the first type of people is called adaptive, perfectionist. The second type is called maladaptive. And there is a big difference between the 2. The first type, they're playing to win. That's the core reference frame that they're coming from when it comes to working. They're playing to win. It's abundance. It's abundance driven. The second type, maladaptive, they are working to cover up their insecurities. Such as, they're telling themselves, oh, I gotta work hard today because I'm just not good enough. Oh, I gotta work hard today because I'm so broke. And they're telling themselves these negatively oriented statements, which is releasing cortisol, the stress hormone. And this is why at the end of the day, you may be feeling really stressed as well as really burned out. It's all about, where are you coming from? What's the fuel that you're running from? Are you running from abundance, playing to win, or playing not to lose? Just notice the difference between the 2. Play to win, play not to lose. Because depending on what you're running off, that fuel, the quality of that fuel that your body's running off, will heavily dictate how you feel at the end of the week. Because let me ask you, have you had great weeks before where you're energized and you was able to reach incredible amount of success? I'm sure you have, right? So you got to ask yourself, what was you running off then? And you'll notice there's a huge difference in terms of energy. The days you tend to burn yourself out, you may have noticed that there are a lot of negative things that land on your plate in terms of events or work. But then that's all a perception. right? It's all a perception. It's a meaning you've given to work. And you got to run off an abundant flow sort of energy. Play to win every single day. Don't play not to lose. It's a totally different mind game. Third mindset shift to consider is you got to realize that the mind controls the character doesn't control the mind. Every single day, the way that you may be perceiving reality is you believe you are controlling the mind. But I want you to change the way you're viewing this, because I'm sure right now you've got a goal that's really big that you want to reach, right? And in order for you to reach that goal, you got to become that version that you've never been. You got to become a person you've never been. Because the person you are right now is attracting these sorts of results. And so in order for you to really just get to a vantage point and detach, this process is called perceptual positioning. You got to consider this process where you realize every single day your mind controls the character. The character is yourself, and your character is like almost like a slave, but it serves you. And your mind needs to feed it actions and routines that gets it to that next level, towards a step closer to where you want to be one day. Because otherwise the character is controlling the mind and you're going to be repeating yourself every single day. Do you kind of see what I mean? So you got to approach life from a whole different limelight. Realize that this is just a character you're controlling. It's like almost like a video game. If you've ever played Sims before, you notice how you can tell this character to go here, go cook some food, go work out in the gym. You got to begin to come from that level of vantage point, detaching from yourself, because our limbic system in our brain is so strong. And this is why we're emotionally driven creatures naturally. And that's why procrastination is a big deal for a lot of people. And it holds a lot of people back. Lack of discipline is all emotion driven. And so if you detach yourself from yourself and you give your character orders, almost like watching yourself from a movie, imagine that you're watching yourself as a character in a movie, then you're able to tell that character to do something that's important. Detach yourself every single day. That way you now know where you're heading in life and you can spot any potential mistakes as well as any flaws that you see later coming down the line. Remember, success is never an accident, nor is failure. And that's why every single day you got to make sure you detach and you give your character orders. So Insider, these are the 3 steps to consider in terms of mindset shifts that will make you more successful today. Be sure to give it a shot. The first step is to raise your perception of effort. The second step is to approach your work with the right mindset. And the third is to realize that the mind controls the character, not the other way around. If you got value from today's video, be sure to click that like button, comment below in regards to what you're going to take action on, and I'll be sure to get back to you, and share this video inside it with at least just one person that you know would benefit, because life is all about paying it forwards, and that's why I create this video for you. So I'll really appreciate it. Share this video with somebody that you know would benefit from watching this, and as always, follow your heart, my friend, and take action, and let's go change the world together.